This SoonerScoop.com video is streaming in crystal clear 4K resolution on YouTube thanks to Enjoy Vision in Oklahoma City. From the big plays to life's everyday moments, see it all in sharp focus with LASIK at Enjoy Vision. Enjoy Vision. This is where Sooner Scoop LASIKs.
Hello and welcome back. Eddie Radosovich, George Stoya here from the Lloyd Noble Center. Oklahoma headed to the Sweet 16 for the first time since 2013, a 96-62 victory over Iowa. A little bit of an ass-kicking, George. Ginny Bronchek and crew obviously happy, but pretty dominating performance for Oklahoma.
Yeah, they were spectacular, especially in the second half. You know, you and I were talking at halftime. I think they're up 11, and it felt like they should have been up 20 or 30 points with how many shots they missed. Sahara Williams was a superstar in the first half, really carried Oklahoma. I think all 13 of her points came in the first half. And then you saw in the second half, you know, Reagan Beers, Peyton Verhulst, they kind of turned it on. Skylar Vann was fantastic again. I think she ended up with a team-high 17 points. Zaya Vann off the bench in the first half was great. And I think Oklahoma kind of showed their depth today, Eddie, and that's kind of what's made them good all season is that you obviously rely a lot on Reagan Beers and Peyton Verhulst, but you've got so many other girls that can come off the bench. Liz Scott was phenomenal today, and Oklahoma just, I mean, it was a really impressive win.
Really thorough performance. And, you know, like you said, I think you have to go back to the first quarter because Zaya Vann and what she brought to the floor when she checked into the game. Oklahoma was struggling early in the first quarter, and then all of a sudden you look up at 16-1 run to end the first quarter. And after that, it was kind of game, set, match, even though it did feel like at halftime, you're only up by 11. You shot the ball terribly in the first half from behind the arc, 2 for 17 start, and then third quarter, outscore them, 30-16, really kind of put it on them.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was the intentional foul when Reagan Beers went down. Iowa had cut it to 9 points. OU gets 2 free throws in the ball. I want to say they hit a 3 after that, and then they hit another one and another one. They hit 3 straight threes. It was like they went on an 11-0 run after that point, and the game was over. I mean, there was no coming back, and they just continued to put them on them. And, you know, Ginny Bronchek talked about it in the postgame, but just so many different girls being able to step up today for Oklahoma. I mean, Lexi Keys didn't play well on offense, but was really key on defense, and I thought they were really good defensively most of the day. Sahara Williams especially was just fantastic. I don't know how many blocks she ended up with. I don't know if you can find that on there, but it seemed like she had like 3 or 4 blocks. Reagan Beers had the big one towards the end where she swatted one. So just overall, Eddie, I thought it was just, I think it's maybe the best, it's definitely the best win of the Ginny Bronchek era.
Sahara Williams with 2 blocks today, Reagan Beers with 4, and if you go back to halftime even, it was combined, 2 points or 4 points in the first half for Reagan Beers and Peyton Verhulst.
Yeah, it was Reagan Beers, Peyton Verhulst, and Skylar Vann all each had just 2 points at halftime. They end up, I think, all finishing in double figures. Reagan Beers, she didn't have her best performance offensively, but boy, she battled, and she was getting beat up down low and drew several fouls, you know, on Iowa, and she was a beast on the boards too. And then again, Liz Scott, I thought Liz Scott, a senior coming in and playing the way that she did, super efficient. I thought that she was just spectacular.
Oklahoma had 70 rebounds. We talked about it on the Hoops Report with Bob Przybilla as well as George on Monday afternoon before heading over here. 64 rebounds today. They really cleaned the glass up today, and you know, I think that you have to give a little bit of a tip of the cap as well to Skylar Vann, who is unbelievable playing her final game here in Norman.
Yeah, she's been awesome. You even think back to the Florida Gulf Coast game. That was honestly a tighter game than this one, sure. And Skylar was kind of the one that carried that team, especially late. Like, she was the one that continued to score for Oklahoma. So today was Sahara Williams in the first half, but then in the second half, Skylar Vann, I think she hit a 3 to start the second half, and you know, away she went. So she's been awesome, and it's cool to see her have that moment, especially at the end when they checked her out. Long embrace with Ginny Bronchek. You know, she was recruited by Sherry Cole, stayed with Ginny when Ginny came in as the head coach, and was a part of that team that lost at home a few years ago to Notre Dame by, I think it was like 50 points at home in the round of 32. To be here for this moment, to see Oklahoma get back to the Sweet 16, just super special for her.
Following the game, Ginny Bronchek as well as Skylar Vann did talk to the media, and here they are, obviously extremely happy, headed to the Sweet 16.
Yeah, no, they're good. And you're right. I think we played really well, and you could tell we are really, really good when we're balanced like that. When we become the one-hit wonder, and you've heard me say this time and time again, we're not nearly as efficient or as good. And even, you know, especially the 3-ball wasn't really falling, especially in that first half. And we still kind of kept going to that. But I thought when we can have balance and we have different players stepping up and do a lot of different things, like Sky said, it's hard to guard. We know that that's hard to guard when you're guarding other teams. But I think we played really, really well today because make no mistake, they're a very good basketball team. And we also knew that they can come back. You know, they've had some big comebacks. They can shoot the ball well. So we didn't stop. We never just, you know, rested on our laurels. We had a couple home run plays that maybe we didn't need to have, but at the same time, I feel like we just stayed competitive and we just stayed guarding for 40 minutes.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot to take in. I mean, our goal this entire since Jenny's been here is just to win and just to play with joy. And I think to leave the LNC and Sooner Nation with a win here, it just means so much. And like Sarah said, the man above, that was our main focus today, was just kind of give it all to him. Like, that's all you can really do and be connected and really protect our bubble. And I think we did that. So I can't really thank anybody but him. So,
You know, something that I did not know, this is the first time that Jenny Baranczyk has advanced out of the round of 32 just herself as a player and obviously as a coach. But it is kind of a, I don't know, I don't want to say changing the guard by any means, but a statement type, kind of culmination of a season to get to Spokane. Obviously, they'll wait on the winner tonight of South Dakota State and UConn, but what a special day it is for Jenny Baranczyk and just kind of what she's built here in Norman.
Yeah, I mean, you again, I mentioned it earlier, the Notre Dame game a few years ago. You know, this crowd there wasn't a ton of people here for that game. They get blown out at home against a good program in Notre Dame, and the way that she's been able to build this up, a couple Big 12 championships, which was super impressive, beating Texas at home last year, and then this year with the team that we all talked about it this year. They need to make the Sweet 16. Like, that was the expectation. Like, that is what they need to do this year to kind of get over that hump. For Jenny, like, she's done a great job, but it's now time to get to that next step. And she did it, and she did it in impressive fashion. So, it's awesome. I didn't realize that either. I thought Iowa had made it when she was a player, but they never made it. And then obviously she had a great run at Drake. But to do it here at Oklahoma, it seems like the program is just, skyrocketing right now in terms of fan base support, the players she's recruiting, and just the overall connection of this program. I think it's remarkable.
Pretty special moment today for Jenny Baranczyk. George asked her about it after the game, kind of leading up to these last 4 years to get to this point and punch their ticket to the Sweet 16.
I don't know if I can go down reflective mode quite yet. But I do know that when they're talking, it makes me smile because that's why they played today. And I think we have tried to play to prove a lot, that we were better than we were, or we try to prove that we're good enough, or we belong in the SEC, or, that we were Big 12 champs. We got to prove that constantly. We got to prove, I can be a starter or a non-starter or a, player of the year or six, like you have all these things that I think sometimes are just human nature things. Today's, I think, one of those validation points of when you just play for joy and you play together, look what happens. And that's really what we want this program to be all about is, you play, everyone says play for the front of your jersey, but it's deeper than that. You answer to one and then you get to play for and with your teammates. And I think you could tell they did that today. The connection they had on that floor was pretty darn special. So that's probably my proudest moment. And I don't think we're done yet. We obviously get another game and we get another opportunity to play an incredible basketball game in the Sweet 16, and we haven't done that. And here's another big moment. So I'm excited to see us continue to respond. Are we going to take that joy in, or are we going to go back and be like, oh, the moment's big? So it'll be fun to be able to see, but the journey's not over, which is awesome.
Obviously, a very meaningful moment for her. I spare with me here. When Skylar Van did come off the floor and she gave her the big embrace, I don't know how they stand on the heels.
Yeah.
I don't know. Never worn heels, preferringly, even though some prefer me with heels. Haven't done it. But it was an awesome crowd today as well. And, at 3 o'clock on a Monday afternoon for a lot of people to come down here, I think it was something that was really important to not only Jenny Baranczyk, but obviously the rest of the team.
Yeah, I ended up getting to ask her, Jenny, after the game, away from the cameras, kind of about the crowd. And she shouted out a bunch of local businesses and people that helped kind of buy the tickets so that students can come. I mean, the student section was remarkable. I mean, it was, I don't know what it was for the men's this year, but that was a full student section section. The whole football team showed up, which, she talked about how cool that was. And then all the coaches that were here, Brent Venables was here, Patty Gasso, to see the support. Porter Moser was here as well with his staff. And, to see that amount of students especially show up. And she also said that there's local schools that let kids out. They didn't account as absence. I know there are several professors at OU that said, hey, go to the game, we'll give you extra credit. I just thought that was super cool. And the atmosphere was electric. I mean, when OU went on some of those runs, I think the crowd definitely, they could feel that juice.
George asked Skylar Van after the game about the crowd today, and here is her answer.
Yeah, I mean, Sooner Nation came out, and we could not thank them more. Jenny was talking about in the locker room from the first year we hosted to now. It's insane to see. So my 4 years playing Jenny, 5 years here, just seeing the crowd grow and grow. Jenny promised our first year that we're going to get this crowd going, and my senior year we did, and I couldn't thank Sooner Nation more. They helped us, no doubt, get that win today. So,
just feeding off Skylar, I think they definitely helped us carry that energy through all 40 minutes. They showed out. I don't think you can put it in any better words, and we really needed that, and I thought we played for them and we played for each other, and it just turned out the way we wanted to today.
Pretty cool atmosphere to be here. I thought it was awesome just to, kind of be a part of it, or be in the arena for it. But final score, Oklahoma wins 96-62. They're headed to Spokane, Washington for a regional semifinal, obviously, with the Sweet 16. And they will await the winner of South Dakota State and UConn. And we do know,
UConn.
prediction-wise, a 26.5-point favorite tonight. Maybe George is telling me to take the points, but Oklahoma, they do know maybe the start time on Saturday.
Yeah, it's either going to be 4:30 or 7, and I believe it'll be on ESPN. So there you go.
Very cool. Very cool. Oklahoma headed up to the Sweet 16, and maybe the week gets better as well. We talked about it on the Hoops Report. You wrote about it on Saturday following the Florida Gulf Coast game and the opening round of the NCAA tournament. Aaliyah Chavez making her announcement at 1 o'clock on Tuesday, the number one player in the country, down to Oklahoma and Texas, it seems like. And I don't know, the word around these parts, it seems, everybody feels pretty confident about it.
Yeah, it seems like OU is maybe trending in the right direction. We'll see. You never know. There's a lot of things in play here, NIL money. I think Texas has long been thought as the leader, but maybe Oklahoma made a final push with her being in town on Saturday. We'll see. It's on 1 o'clock on Sports Center, so you can tune into it on national television.
That is coming up tomorrow on Tuesday. So for George Stoya, I'm Eddie Radosevich. George will have plenty of wrap-up here today from Oklahoma's 96-62 victory over Iowa. They're headed to the Sweet 16 for the first time since 2013. For George Stoya, I'm Eddie Radosevich. We'll see you back here on the Soonerscoop.com YouTube channel.